SunPrairie.com, on Facebook searching the Baker Real Group, or by calling 888-556-7131. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the Sun Prairie Real Estate Show.
Welcome to the Sun Prairie Real Estate Show with your host, Bill Baker.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Sun Prairie Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Bill Baker, and just glad to have you back in the studio with us today. It's been a fantastic week. I love it when it rains overnight and you can get up and you have a nice sunrise coming through your windows and everything. You're listening to 103.5 WLSP, The Sun, right here in beautiful Sun Prairie, home of Station of the Year, as selected by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association. And by the way, folks, that's big market. That means we went up against JJO, IBA, and little bitty Sun Prairie Media Center is the #1 top dog in the world today. So pretty excited about that. The show would not be what it is if we didn't have that wonderful lady by the name of Laura Stanfield, the greatest mortgage banker in the world. And Yahtzee player.
No, I don't play Yahtzee at all, actually.
Well, I just made it up. I thought,
And I am not the greatest mortgage banker in the world, but thank you.
You're not the greatest?
No, I think I'm pretty good, but I'm not the greatest.
You haven't dropped a deal in forever since we've been together.
Well, if we do our job up front well, then that shouldn't happen.
And that's so true. I mean,
as long as, I should say, people don't do goofy things along the way, like buy a car or, I don't know, do something, just decide to...
Open credit cards?
Open credit cards.
What is going on with that?
We had somebody do that recently, but it's okay, we fixed it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I know. I mean, folks, if you're buying a house, if you're selling a house, do not do anything silly like that. I'm just telling you.
Ask your lender,
Ask
at least
your
that
lender.
way they can help you navigate. Okay, fine, so you did that. Here's what we need to do. Or better yet, I'm thinking about doing this. Let's talk about it. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
Just wait. It's only like 30 days. You can wait, right?
That's true.
Wait on your furniture.
Not
a big deal.
The thing is that people get anxious. That's all.
They get excited. I get it.
I know.
But you also don't want to lose your house that you fought so hard to get. So don't do silly things. Just ask questions.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, Laura and I started this show 7 years ago with the intent of helping to educate and inform you to the process of buying, selling, or investing in real estate. We like to bring you the news, the updates, what's going on in the marketplace, so you can make those sound decisions and also be a resource for you out at Buck and Honey's or Beans and Cream or something like that to help you any way we can. It's not a sales show. It's more about education, and we pride ourselves on that.
Yes.
We're usually about 30 days ahead of everybody else, which I think is really cool. Well, we do our homework. I mean, that's the thing, Well, we do.
The professional thing that we talk about a lot, like know your craft,
We
know
do.
what you're talking about, know how to help people, and then what's your reason for doing what you're doing, and mine is education.
Exactly, and knowing what you're doing is the reason why we have our guest today, Bill Connors. This guy knows the market. He knows not only the commercial, the residential. It's a good idea to have this guy on. And as our former president of our city council, it's nice to have him on. So we'll get to him in just a second. I have a quick question about, because you have your crystal ball out. You know what's happening. Is it today or tomorrow?
Today.
It's going to happen, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How big?
0.75%.
You really think it's going to go 3/4?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But the good thing about it, and we've talked about this before, but for people who aren't maybe listening every time, although you should.
Yeah.
But when the Fed announces a rate increase, it is not a direct impact on first mortgage rates.
No.
It's an indirect impact. They announced it already that they were going to do this again and continue increasing to try to curb inflation. So the market immediately reacts to something like that. But then when people get, like, oh my gosh, what's going on with rates? Just let it sit a bit. It usually calms down after that. So last week was amazing for rates.
What do you mean by that?
Well, we got up as high as, I'd say, 6 1/4, and then last week I was locking everybody I could at 5 1/8.
Oh, wow.
But then the first couple of days this week it went up again in reaction to what's happening. And now today is a pretty good day. So it's calming down again,
Okay.
and now rates are falling back again. So
And it's all about mortgage-backed securities.
it is.
That's what it's all
It
about.
is. And they actually
Where are they putting
like
their money?
the fact that the Fed is increasing the rate.
Why is
because
that?
It's hopefully going to curb inflation. And they like that. So
Well, that's...
it's not a bad thing.
Bill's over there biting it. He's ready to go. You can hear him pawing on the ready to go. Get into this conversation. So let's do that. Let's get into this. Because, Sun Prairie's market right now is just really interesting. We have people that we know we need apartments, but we don't want apartments, but not in my backyard, as they say, NIMBY. And we don't have enough housing. We don't have the correct housing. Our pricing is going up. And so, and then we need some commercial businesses downtown in those apartments that are sitting empty for a long time and downtown. We need commercial stuff, more commercial. So you got to bring in the guy that's got all the answers, right?
And is pricing going up?
It is.
In all price ranges.
In all
price ranges.
Oh, well, now you just sent me down a rabbit hole.
Well,
That'll be for next week.
You were already there.
I know. I haven't done it. I didn't break it out by segment, though. I mean, I got to sleep sometime. Oh my gosh, I tell you.
You need to organize your day better, maybe. Don't do it so late
You're
or so
killing
early.
me. Well, which thing do I have to give up? Lions, Knights of Columbus, Sunshine,
Okay, stop doing so much.
Farmers Market. I'm not giving up those things. I love that stuff. Hey, let me tell you about this guy, Bill Connors. He is, like I said, he's our the former District 2 Alder, the greatest district in the city of Sun Prairie, and our city council president. You probably, if you don't know him personally, you haven't seen pictures of him, you've seen him on Facebook. And he is an information machine. You, my friend, do not sleep. There's just no way that you sleep with all the input you put in there. But let me tell you what else he does. He is the executive director of Smart Growth Greater Madison. And that group represents the real estate development community in Dane County. Started out being Madison, now it's all of Dane County. To promote vibrant and intelligent development, collaborating with local and state government elected officials and their staffs in the drafting of development-related policies. As a executive director, he communicates the positions of SGGM to elected officials and their staffs and provide them with analysis of the impact of the proposed development-related policies. That means you talk to elected officials before apartment buildings go in?
So, I don't think...
I'm sorry, Bill. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Well, thank you. So my organization doesn't get directly involved in individual development projects. We're looking at broader policy. So ordinances, so we focus mostly at the local level. And so it's ordinances or proposed ordinances that would have an impact on real estate development.
Okay.
And trying to make sure that the local government officials understand that they're fixed on this particular good thing that they're trying to do.
Sure.
Make sure that they understand that if they go at it the way they're talking about, that it has these negative impacts on for example, housing.
Sure.
And housing is a tough issue all over the country right now. There is a housing shortage that's been going on for quite some time. And you don't want to make that worse chasing some shiny bauble, or at least we don't think you should make it worse chasing some shiny bauble. So that's what we're trying to do is help elected officials understand where those trade-offs are, and maybe help them tailor what they're trying to do in a way that gets to where they kind of want to go, but doesn't do as much damage.
But I would say that you have a real pulse on this, because look at the names who you're working with: Gialamas, Gebhardt, Urban Land, Keller Great Deal, T-Wall, Mullins, Steve Brown Apartment. You've got the creme de la creme of people as members for this organization, and Viridian, they've got their finger is on the pulse. They're not building apartments because they just want to. They're building them because there's a need out there.
Yes, absolutely. And if I say anything on Facebook over and over again, it's that. It's like those developers are reacting to demand. They're not, and they're, of course, they're trying to make a profit. That's what they're in business to do. But they can't make a profit if they aren't responding to demand that's there. So if people want to move to Dane County. We keep seeing more and more people move from all over the world, all over the country. Waukesha County, it's like the data showed that a lot of people were moving here from Waukesha County. I don't know why that is. But
to Sun Prairie in particular?
Right, yeah, on the study is what it showed.
Yeah. Weird. But at any rate, people are flooding into Dane County because of the economic opportunities here. And we just can't, in the county-wide, can't keep up with the demand for housing. We're just not producing enough to keep up with that demand. It's not just Sun Prairie. Sun Prairie is just doing its part.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the question is,
go ahead.
if the demand is so high for rentals, how do we know that the demand isn't that high because there aren't the houses out there to buy, condos or houses? What about condos?
Yeah. I mean,
wow.
I my understanding is that condos haven't, that's challenging based on the lending requirements. It's hard to get a condo project done. Is what my understanding
From
is.
a building standpoint
Yeah.
or from buying?
No, from
The
lending.
The lending side?
Yeah, lending to the developer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that, Laura?
Well, if it has to fit conforming guidelines,
Well, sure.
Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac guidelines, and they have certain parameters that condo associations have to follow. But it's not impossible. We can make that stuff happen.
I know.
Yeah.
It just depends on the availability of the financials that are willing to do that. And there might not be enough of those, but there's some. So it's possible.
And condos, I think we're missing those in the biggest way. We have 10 actively on the market right now today. $249,000 is the median price for that, and we're looking at $227,000 average, $249 on median. But we need more.
Yeah, no, we definitely need more in Sun Prairie, in Dane County. Yes, condos would be a good thing. I don't know how to stimulate that because there was a huge condo boom before the housing crash, and those lender policies or regulations tightened up considerably after the housing crash because there was such a glut of condos that nobody could get rid of. Yeah.
Well,
Trust me, I remember.
And then it crashed.
Yeah.
And a lot of apartment conversions into condos too that didn't get finished or didn't maybe go well. But yeah, Fannie and Freddie in particular took a lot of losses. So yeah, guidelines changed quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we in our I was going to change gears for a second. Let's not do that. Let's keep going here. This is good. So the condo market, apartment, condo, that whole thing, it just drives me crazy. And I'm the one guy sitting in the room, and as your favorite blowhard and fire starter that I am. Well,
Yes, I saw that.
I need to always have we have a connection here.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty.
A love-hate relationship?
Oh no, there's no love hate.
Okay.
I don't think there's any hate involved.
No, there's none.
Sometimes.
We do.
Okay.
Respectfully, we do.
I think the same is true for you and I about our recent discussion about sidewalks.
Yeah, and you guys are like two of kin too. I mean, oh my gosh.
I'm okay until the names start coming out, and then I'm like, no.
Oh yeah.
Nope.
Well, I remember when he was our alder. I mean, people were throwing some names, and I'd step in right away and say, "This is a bunch of crap,"
Well, some
Stop
people
it.
are just rude and comment without having any knowledge or experience.
That's true.
expertise.
And I give you credit for being in politics. I mean, it is not an easy job, and thank you for doing it. As I said to you, I'm surprised that your name is not on the list today for Gary Hebel's spot.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about it, but and so people mentioned it to me, but it just wasn't the right time for me. So.
Wow.
Yeah, but same thing. We were when we were looking to find candidates for like District 2 Alder the last time around, and some people who lived in the district, we thought they'd be really good candidates, and they just said, not the right time for me in my life. And that's the reality.
That's okay. It was during COVID too, where there's a lot of things going on with people.
Well, I tell you this, you always responded to email, text, or phone calls as an alder, and thank you. I can't get Yokish to do that yet.
Naming names, but yeah.
No, well, Ice Burner,
Right.
Ice Burner, he's fresh, so he's responding to it. But no, I pick on Bob.
He said it.
Bob and I like each other, but just no, say thank you. I understand believe me, I understand the struggle of campaigning and running and all that stuff. But wow, it's more work. Now, how about mayor? You're going to run for mayor?
Not anytime soon. I won't rule it out someday. But
Okay, all right.
soon.
That's a very political response.
Yeah.
Wasn't that good?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
maybe we've heard that before.
Yeah.
Sounds like a politician and a lawyer. I don't know.
But yeah, an interesting thing is anybody ever going to run against Paul Esser?
Wow.
We need somebody to.
Wow. Go
Well,
ahead.
since we're
Who
being
fired
honest
you
and
up
putting
today?
it all out
Nobody's listening anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
Not true. People listen to this later.
Oh
maybe
my
not
gosh.
live, but yeah.
about 1,000 people do. Yeah.
No disrespect, but we need some competition. There's good things that can come out of competition. so.
That's true. It's yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Generally, it's not a good thing to go year after year with only one person running for each office. That's
Right.
not
Yeah.
that's not good for the community.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yep.
So what do you've been around here a long time. You know this market. You know more about the process and the inner workings of real estate than probably any of us. What's your opinion and your thoughts on Sun Prairie and our housing? Home owner, rental?
What I tell people when we talk about what Sun Prairie's housing policy should be, my answer is always the same. We need more of everything.
Yeah.
We just need more, and it shouldn't be just single family houses. It shouldn't be just
No.
apartments. It should be all of the above. Condos. If we could get more condos, that would be great.
Yes,
Yeah.
it would.
I kind of thought that there was a recent proposal that got shot down
Right.
along West Main Street, and that had a substantial condo component. And I thought, wow, this is great.
Exactly.
And then it didn't get completely shot down. It got the recommendation for the Plan Commission was no, and then the developer pulled it.
Yeah. And they would not respond to me.
So we
They
don't
would not
know
return
why,
my call.
or do we know why?
I don't know why. I assume they were worried that they weren't going to get the votes at council, but it may be other things that are going on. I mean, right now, costs of materials are just crazy.
Mhm.
The lead times on some of the materials. I heard somebody from Findorf saying that for switchgear to control the electric power in larger buildings, the lead time right now is 84 weeks.
Oh my
What?
gosh.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and for rooftop units, it's like 60, and it's like,
Where's this stuff coming from? Is that?
yeah, some of it's coming from overseas.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
it's kind of custom designed and built, and it's just not getting done.
It's a specialty kind of
yeah,
thing,
yeah, yeah.
and not local, not to our.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
Dwayne Sprecher has shared with me from Culver's that when the new buildings that they're opening, their new locations,
West, yeah.
no, not just west here, but anywhere, that they're having problems getting different products. And they started a program where they're warehousing some of the machinery now, which is an added cost, but they have to, just so they can have it when you need, that ice maker goes down, you need a new ice maker now, not 6
Yeah.
months from now.
Yeah. I mean, that they're talking. The Findorf guy was talking about starting to do that on projects. So for large projects, buy the stuff even before you've got the
Right.
zoning approval, so that you can get that lead time going.
Sure.
Because otherwise, your project's going to take forever. I'm hearing about apartment units where they've pre-leased units,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden they're blowing their date. People were expecting they are out of their old lease. They're
Oh my gosh.
expecting to be able to move into the new building, and now the new building's 3 or 4 months behind schedule.
Ouch.
And
And the apartment could be rented already.
Yeah. So
Nobody
they're in a
knows.
bind. I don't know what those tenants are doing to deal with that situation.
That's a good question, because housing is not really, I
No.
can think of a couple people. There's a lady that's been looking, and I realize price is probably her issue, but she needs to be around 900,000, and she needs to rent, and she can't find anything. Affordable housing, right?
Yeah.
There's such a lack of affordable housing, renting and buying both. Yeah, I wonder where those people are going. Ouch.
Yeah, that's a tough situation, but that's it's supply chain.
Sure.
So yeah, you got just trying to get the stuff at any price
Right.
is disrupting things tremendously.
Sure.
And then the cost, and then the higher interest rates. I'm sure you folks have said over and over again, historically these interest rates are not that high. But if you've got a home already and you're at a mortgage rate that's like 2 3/4,
Yep.
you're not real
moving.
anxious to sell your house and try to buy it.
Right.
Yeah, even though I think this is temporary. That's my uneducated guess, is that this is a phase we're going through, and the Fed will eventually get it under control, and the supply chain issues will heal. But I don't know when exactly that's going to be.
I think, well, I talked about having interest rates at 7% by June or July, but I think by the end of the year we'll be at 7%. I don't think 7% is a bad number.
It depends on recession.
If we can see pricing come down a little bit on there, but how are you going to do that? And because inventory is short, we're low on inventory. Demand is still high. 6% didn't do anything to anybody. They're still out there wanting to buy houses, except it's that category of folks like the beginning homeowner. They're now pushed out of the market.
Yeah.
Or the buyer that was at 350 or 300,000 is now at 250, and good luck with that.
Yeah.
It's just that it's pushed everybody down in that segment, but the demand is high. We're working with a couple right now that is busting a gut to find a place, and it's a challenge.
Yeah. Well, I think there's people who have been pushed out of the market by the interest rate and the pricing, but there's also people who would have been discretionary sellers,
right,
who are not going to sell now.
Right.
And so that even though the demand has gone down a bit, the supply has gone down again.
Sure. Yeah. The thing about that seller that's sitting there, I think they need to work with their financial person. I think they need to look at that, because I've had people that have sold and now they're renting because they cashed out on their equity, and then they've got some time before the capital gains and that kicks in. But that's something that's happening that's taking over our rental properties, and the people that are trying to buy a house that love Sun Prairie, they want to live here, they can't find a home, so what do? Rent.
They
That's
rent
what I mean
if they
about
can find something. Yeah.
renting apartments.
Yeah.
Because I think there would be more demand for housing. They just can't find it, so they have to go somewhere and they rent until the market shifts or they can find something.
Yeah, I saw a story that the sentiment among house builders is down for like the 7th straight month.
Yeah.
So they're pulling in their horns. They're not doing the next phase of their subdivision right now. They're putting it off, and so that's also making the problem of lack of supply worse.
Right, exactly. And our home builders, though, they're on track. I mean, some of them are booked out a year already, 12 months out. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then some of them are taking more work on that. Our apartment buildings here, we're full. We're at like 96%. If you're asking everybody and making your calls and that, they're full. And so we know there's a need, but I don't think people really realize the importance of those rental properties. It's not just a home for somebody. It's what happens after they're there, and how it just does things to this city that are just amazing.
Yeah. So Viridian makes it a point that in their developments they don't do multifamily housing.
Right.
They don't develop that, but they always want in their new subdivisions a parcel for multifamily housing development.
They do twin homes.
Yeah, they do twin homes. Yeah, they do some things to try to get price point down, but they also want some true apartments within their subdivision. And the reason they want that is that they want to get like young people to get an apartment, love the neighborhood, and want to buy.
Right.
And they also want to make it so that a family who's lived in that neighborhood for a long time, and now their kids are gone, and they don't want the maintenance, and they want to step back, they can stay in the neighborhood.
Sure.
And so that's what housing choice within neighborhoods does. It gives people
smart.
that ability to go where they want to go in terms of their housing style that fits their point in their life.
So let's for a second. Let's talk about the NIMBY and apartments in Sun Prairie, because I think it's really important to share this with folks, and how we can address it as a city, as a community. But let me start here. Here's what we need to know about apartments. It's not everybody's going to be able to afford a home, a single family home. Laura and I don't like to say that, but it's true. And there are folks in our community that want to live in our community, and they're working all around us. It could be working at the bakery, it could be working at Buck and Huntings, it could be working downtown at Eddie's Bar. I don't know, something like that. And if we don't have that housing, and they're driving from Monona, they're not going to be there long, because they're going to find a job offer in Monona that's the same dollar amount, could be even less, and they're gone. So that's why we have to have that all types of housing, especially rental housing.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that the people, particularly at the big bakery, talk about that.
Oh, really?
That they're getting people coming in from Marshall or wherever where the housing is a lower price, but the moment they can find a job that pays something comparable that doesn't have that commute, they're gone.
Right.
And so that housing component is very important to our employers.
Sure.
It is. Because workforce housing, I've mentioned this before, but like years ago, WIDA was working on a workforce housing solution, and that was working with large employers, getting in there, helping them figure out like how to get their people ready to buy, and then maybe the employer would contribute some toward down payment or closing costs or whatever, and it was worth it for the employer to do that to prevent turnover. If you contribute to an employee's home purchase, they're probably going to be a little more loyal to you. They'll be closer and they'll want to stay longer. So it makes me sad that program didn't get carried through, because it was a great idea.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. I think that would be a great program. You know, the thing that people miss on this is that you're thinking about the person that wants to rent, okay? And it's the person that you've just hired, you've spent 90 days training them, and now they quit.
Yeah.
The cost associated with that is so big you can't even imagine.
Yeah.
And if we help our businesses reduce that time, that just, I don't know what the right word I want to use for that mess. If we can help them reduce that cost, it makes them a stronger business. Stronger business means stronger community, and everybody works out very well.
Yeah. The amazing thing to me is that we're talking about right now about workforce housing, and people are, workforce housing. Those people are lower income. It's like, well,
not necessarily.
Maybe a little lower income, but they're not like. The starting teacher is lower income. It's like these are not.
There's a lot of misunderstandings about that. I teach on this at the new realtor orientation, and even like the programs that are out there for first-time buyers, maybe some down payment assistance. People are always surprised. Dane County has higher average incomes, right? And it's usually like 80% for a lot of these programs of the median income. So you can make in the mid-60s for a single family household and still qualify for this. And the room is usually like, oh yeah, I thought it was for really low income people.
That's right.
That's not really low income.
No,
it's not.
In fact, the hotel that's converting over on East Washington, we talked about this last week, that they're talking about the median prices and what the rents would be in there, and they're going to be higher than what we have for rents here in Sun Prairie.
Yeah.
And they're talking about affordable housing.
Yeah, that's in quotes, affordable.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Do our quotes on that. But then it's sort of like mind-boggling to me is that it's an apartment project is being proposed that isn't an affordable housing project. It's a market rate project, and people make it sound like it's Cabrini Green. And it's like, who do you think's renting these things at these rents? I couldn't afford these rents in these market rate apartments. Why would we want to chase those people away?
You know what I think it is that when they bought their house, they had no idea was sitting around them.
Yes.
And I think that we need to have better communication, and I'll say that the realtors need to be better about that, and to understand, say to somebody, hey, Gephardt's going to build an apartment building down there with 300 apartments in it. Just want to make you aware of that before you buy that house or before you build that house. And here's the thing, the information's there. Shame on all of us for not communicating it better.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and sometimes things change. I mean, the Colorado Commons, the Gephardt one you talked about. I mean, that was marked in the comprehensive plan for a long time for something that just never was going to happen. And so I think realtors are going to help people understand things. It's like if a big parcel of land sits for a long period of time, it might change. The the use for that might change because it's not going to just sit there undeveloped forever, and,
Oh,
and
sure.
not everything is going to work as single-family houses financially.
Yeah.
And so you got to kind of understand that. But so that one was a change in the comprehensive plan. The one on West Washington, I've got the wrong city in my head. West Main Street out there, the one that was recently, that the Plan Commission voted against. That was actually in the comprehensive plan, the most recent comprehensive plan, as high-density residential development. However, the neighborhood was already there, and so I think again goes to your your communication thing, is that during that planning process, we at the city, and I'll put a we in it because I was at the city, should have done a better job explaining to people that here's where things are changing that you might want to care about.
Sure.
Because we got to a point where a developer is proposing and sunk a lot of money. Developers sink a lot of money to get to the point where they're just trying to get a proposal approved.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sunk a lot of money doing something that was consistent with the plan, and then it got voted down. Because there wasn't...
Because of design.
Because there just wasn't the commitment to the plan because of neighborhood opposition. And so you need to ask the question, how could we have avoided this result? We either needed to not put that in the plan, or we needed to do a better job engaging the community to make sure that there was support for that part of it.
Wow, we got a comment here. You're gonna love
that's
this one.
interesting.
You're gonna like this comment.
Okay.
Pam says the comment is, that's stupid to expect a realtor to tell a potential buyer about possible apartments going on in nearby. Realtors are paid on commission, and that's not the responsibility. Not their responsibility, I'm sure she's trying to say. And Pam, I hear what you're saying exactly, but as a realtor, we have an obligation to report things like, if I knew that, I would definitely disclose that information. If I know there's going to be power lines that are going to come across, I have to respond to that. If I know there's going to be a dump or something coming down the road, I have to disclose that. I mean, there are things that we have to disclose, and I think honestly that a good realtor would just have that information because they're in tune with the community, and it's one of the reasons I always say use local, use local, use local. Doesn't matter who it is, just use local. But I appreciate your comment. I don't think it's stupid, but thank you anyway. But I think the realtor is just one part, Pam, that is a part of that communication. It's also the lender. It's also the city. It's your neighborhood associations. It's everybody involved to really explain that before things happen. I mean, it's you may change your mind if you know a 300-unit apartment building is going to go up across the street from you.
Well, Nick
go ahead.
Conrad's listing, has that sold yet?
It did sell.
Oh, good. But it was on the market in an inordinate amount of time.
Right.
Because we think of what was
right, and he confirmed
going
that.
in across the street.
He confirmed that. He said that the reason people hadn't been writing offers is because they don't know what it's going to be like behind it, in Creekside over there.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I have to say, I was over in Michigan. I was visiting Dwayne, my buddy Dwayne, and he lives in a community very similar right now to what we're going to have at Agri and Bird.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's as nice as that, I got no problem with it. But I had that negative thought immediately. We're going to put rentals out where? Oh my gosh! And how's it going to affect those homes that are $700,000 to $1 million that back up to it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it isn't just one person I've heard say it. It's multiple in different settings. Like, why would they put apartments there when there's usually you want to be within walking distance to anything that you need, and you're not. There's nothing in walking distance.
Mm-hmm.
There's no bus service. There's no nothing. So why there? Why apartments there?
Because they're not affordable housing.
Yes. Yeah. And that's part of it. And it's where you can get land. I mean, it's like where.
Then why not condos again?
And
why
we're
not
running out of land.
A mix of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it either. To me, apartment living is looking for walkable areas where they can go wherever they need to go for whatever they need, and it's not going to offer that out there.
This product, is my understanding, is they're mostly located in kind of very suburban areas throughout the country, and it's designed to feel like you're living in single-family houses, and even though it's rental. So it's very different than, it's not a direct competitor for a 4-story apartment building in an urban area. It's really a really different market segment.
They are going to have a 3-level, I think, multi-unit right there off Bird, and the sad part about it is it's as you come up Bird before you get to Eggery, it's going to be on the right-hand side there. A new home was just built, $700,000 home. It's going to back right up to this building. And
I wasn't aware that there was a multi-level one in that.
I wasn't either. Somebody mentioned that. And I was
I'll have to go look at the plans again because I didn't see that.
Yeah, so they said that they're going to hold off on that unit. They're going to build everything else and they'll hold off on it. But I don't know if they pulled it from the project. But originally there was a multi.
Originally that was a phase 2. That was a phase 2,
but it's no longer.
I don't think it's part of phase 2 any longer. Yeah, so that was the thing people were going wild about. Was that part of it in particular? But I don't think that's part of it anymore. I think they've spread the lower density over the whole area.
Sure.
Because the city, ironically, the city's plan had been to put multi-story. Multi-family with like some commercial on the ground floor in the spot you talked about.
Yeah.
The developer was putting in their first proposal exactly what was in the comprehensive plan.
Sure.
And then everybody went wild about it, and so they pulled that part of it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But I'll double check.
What do you think about the project going on at the corner of Main and Bird?
So there's 2 projects going on. Main and Bird.
Main and Bird.
Main and Bird. Okay, so yeah, that one's rolling along. It's behind schedule. Again, I think they're having problems with supply chain.
Yeah.
But
labor could be both.
or labor, yeah. So that one seems to be taking an inordinate amount of time to build out. But they're putting brick on it now.
I know. I saw it this morning on the way down here.
Yeah.
So but it's like a canyon. When you're driving down, it's a canyon.
Is that
like the sun was blocked out.
That's like really close.
It's right close to the road.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there was pushback on that, but obviously it's built. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's the city. Again, we make plans, and then do we have commitment to those plans? Or maybe there's something wrong with the plan if we don't have commitment to the plan. But at any rate, the plan is for that area, for those all 4 corners eventually to have larger buildings pulled close to the sidewalk. That's what we want at that intersection, according to the plan the city adopted.
Now, not being a builder myself, I only play one on TV or radio. So why is it you want to go right up to the sidewalk on there?
That's my question. Why do you want them so close and so tall and like hovering really?
Well, that actually has been the vision of the city in plans that have existed for like over a decade, like a couple of decades.
Well,
we want to create an urban environment there. We want it to feel like a city. And so just like we have that at downtown, we want it to be. We want essentially downtown to spread out West Main Street, and that Bird and Main Corner is a very, very important spot for that. So that's the vision that the city's had since Joe Chase was mayor.
Wow.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. To replace those old aging commercial buildings with the big parking lots in front of them with 2, 3, 4-story buildings pulled right up to the sidewalk.
You know, Jen down at Faded Roots would love to expand her business. She has nowhere to go. She'd like to stay downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got, if you have parking behind the building, that's okay. Some spots in front, that's okay. And her business is thriving right now. She wants to add a men's line.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and
I didn't know that.
And you got to talk to her. You have to go in there actually.
Well, I don't ask about men's clothing. Sorry, I don't care.
Well, you don't.
I don't care. I'm just being.
I'm an extra husky, and anytime,
Husky? That's not a size.
No.
I've never seen an H.
No, that's not.
Or XH.
Man, I can't believe we have 20 minutes left. I can't believe that already. Oh my gosh, it's flying by.
Mm-hmm.
But she's trying to find a new location, and she would love to be in the middle of right across from Bank of Sun Prairie.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted the Cross House. She told the historical group that she would lease that from them and then do some of the repairs upstairs.
Oh.
And
they said no?
They said no.
Because it's an historical.
Yeah, I think things happen for a reason, though, on a good thing. And what's going to happen to the utilities building, that'll probably go away, and it'll be a multi-story right there, and I don't think she'll like it as well.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the thing is that there will be new buildings built close to downtown. They will have commercial space that they'll be seeking to lease. Unfortunately, a lot of times that lease rate in those newer buildings, plus the cost of building out, is too much for most small businesses to handle. So we got a lot of newer commercial space that sits empty, and there are businesses that want to expand, but they just can't make it work financially.
Right.
So some local governments are looking at creating programs where they can kind of, do a matching grant for the build out, tenant build out.
Okay.
So that the tenant's only like paying 50% of the build out cost, or instead of 100%. That can actually make something like that fly.
That would be
Absolutely.
great.
Yeah. So if you're thinking of ideas for our city government to consider, that's one that might be worth looking at. Because there are a number of communities that have, some sort of matching grant program for that leasehold improvement cost.
I think for our housing and that, and I've asked the mayor to be on the committee, the housing committee. I don't know if he'll put me on there or not. I asked for Laura also, because I think we need to have a better rounded group there. And I don't know, I know the workings and the numbers and the stats, I think, better than most.
Yeah, I'd say.
And so I see some ideas, I see some opportunities. And one of them, I think, for homes and the way of reducing the cost is to use a land lease that's held by the city. Now, that housing person that they're going to hire could be the one that's managing that, along with the committee. And what the land lease would be is the city buys the land, a parcel of land, whatever, it could be out on town hall with what's going on there. And they hold it for maybe 5 years. And then it rolls into the actual value or the purchase price after 5 years, 7 years, whatever. Just I think a nice way where the city is buying property. It's an asset. It's not really an expense, and they're going to recoup their cost by forwarding that value later when either they sell it, something like that. And I'm talking just with a general idea, but also our designs. I think our designs are, everybody in Wisconsin thinks we need a basement. I think we use a slab design, and use quads out there, maybe, or a slab design in a single family.
For the occasional tornado, though, that randomly rolls through Sun Prairie.
When was the last tornado that hit Sun Prairie?
I'm being facetious.
No, I said that it's going to happen. You're going to get on me.
Yeah, sorry.
But it's going to take a lot of creativity and a lot of different kinds of programs at state and local level to make some of this work.
Sure.
Because you see those affordable housing projects, they almost always are pulling money from 3, 4, 5 different programs to add to their capital stack to make it work financially.
Wow.
Who's on the housing committee?
No, well, he hasn't picked it yet, as far as I know.
So
Do you have an insight?
No, I don't.
No? I could see you on that committee, too.
Yeah, I thought about that too, and I thought, probably it would be a good idea.
Would it be a conflict?
Yeah, it might be. People might look at it.
Oh, Churro, you've been in conflict all your life, so come on, dude.
Right? He's used to that.
Yeah.
Bring it.
I just it kind of a conflict maybe going the other way. You understand?
Yes, I do.
My masters might not like what I'm doing on that committee.
but we're talking about affordable housing, and I mean, if we continue to do the same thing over and over again, nothing's going to change. Everybody loves to talk about affordable housing, but they're not doing anything about it. There's no plans. We can't create affordable housing under the current structure, whether it's the financing or city government, and we have to make those changes. But nobody seems willing to step up and go, okay, here's an idea, here's what we need to do. And I don't understand that.
Let's invite Bob Proctor. Robert Proctor on the show.
Yeah, I work with Robert a lot.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, very good
Really
guy.
good guy.
Yeah.
And has his pulse on what's going on and our affordable housing issues with regard to development. He's a wealth of information.
Kurt Paulson, in the study that he did, he said not building enough homes to keep up with the population and our income growth. We know people want to come to Sun Prairie because of our schools, because of our parks, the way I think it's the people also, and I even include in there our approachable government that we have. We know people are coming here for these things. I mean, I sell these houses. I talk to them. I know why they're coming. None of them are coming from Waukesha, by the way.
Yeah, really? I don't know where that stat came from.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Strange.
it's census data they found. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, I mean, and so people. I see in like Madison. I deal a lot with the city of Madison,
Sure.
and there's a lot of
a
lot of folks in the city of Madison that want to focus exclusively on the affordable housing part, build more affordable, nice affordable housing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you aren't addressing the whole market, you're making affordable housing, sort of what we call naturally occurring affordable housing, disappear, because the whole market is going up. In every unit is going up in price because you're not producing enough supply in the market as a whole.
Exactly.
And so I always go back to that answer to Sun Prairie. We need like high level, nice, really nice, expensive houses.
Mm-hmm.
We need really nice, high level apartments, and then we need everything down from that.
Sure.
More of it, and condo. I think condos great. Let's figure out how to get more condos here too.
Oh my gosh.
It needs to be financially beneficial for the developer and builder, and I'm sure that's where a lot of this is coming from.
Well, that's what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
excuse me, if you think about it from the developer standpoint, I mean, if you're going to make 10% on a house, they're going to net 10%, let's say, that would you rather build one $600,000 house or two $300,000 house? You have to have double the amount of services, your labor and all your supplies, or you have one. I get it, but that doesn't solve the problem.
Yeah. So one of the things the city government can do is, if there's particular things we want to incentivize, is to streamline and make more predictable the process of getting approval.
Yep.
All right. So
Did you just say that?
Wow.
You and I have disagreed on this for a long time.
Okay.
That's okay. Go ahead.
What is there to disagree on that? That just makes sense.
Because what I said to him in a post was, I just want to cut the fees in half.
Yeah.
And he says, where are you going to come up with $2 million that we're going to lose?
Yeah.
And he's got a valid point.
He does.
Yeah. So I mean, one of the things, you see what happened on that West Main Street project. Developer poured a ton of money into that,
Right.
and then it all went south.
Yep.
Boy, that's a huge risk for somebody to take.
Yeah.
If you've got a process that if you say, if you produce this particular thing for us, we're gonna streamline. We're gonna approve that at the staff level.
Sure.
If you do exactly, well, here are all the criteria, and you do exactly that, you don't need to go to the Plan Commission and Council for approval.
Right.
That's will offset a huge amount of the regulations from the lenders that are scaring developers
Sure.
away from doing condos. So that's a real tangible benefit to developers that doesn't cost the city a single dollar.
That's what's been so frustrating over the last, 10, 14 years going on, that condos are still viewed as higher risk property types.
Isn't that
And
something?
People who buy condos pay a little more interest rate wise.
Mhm.
It's absurd. It's ridiculous. It should have changed. It should have shifted, knowing the market that we're in right now. But that's Fannie and Freddie, right? And that's
Mhm.
what lenders are stuck.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have.
Unless we fight back as an industry, and many have, but those are huge entities that we're trying to.
Yes. Yeah. Those big government regulations
Yes.
can get in the way of all kinds of stuff. And
It's really frustrating.
they were reacting to a real crisis.
They were.
But now they've gone too
Yeah.
far for too long.
Sure.
Too long
Yeah.
is the key. And I agree with both, yes. Yeah.
I would like to see a new developer come in and go to town hall and take 20 of those lots
Mhm.
or whatever and do something out there. And have a way, have an incentive or something where they can make it more affordable. $350 or less. I think we have like 9 right now that are $350,000 or less on the market that are actively for sale. And but it's got to come down even more. If we have a property bill that's at $250 or $200, it's like a group of piranhas going after that house. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, to have 20 offers on a house just blows me away.
Mhm.
Never in my life did I ever think I would see something like that.
Yeah.
And 17 years of being a real estate agent, I've never in my life. It's just absolutely
We've
crazy.
seen markets like this, but nothing like
Nothing
this
like
severe,
this.
this dramatic,
No.
and people letting go of every contingency and heaven only knows what may or may not be wrong with the property that they're stuck with.
Yeah.
And they paid who knows how much over asking price just to get it.
So have you talked about the sort of new thing in the Sun Prairie single family house market?
What's that?
That a national home builder has bought a bunch of lots in Sun Prairie. Lennar bought out the rest of the lots in the reserve. And so the Lennar signs are up.
Okay.
But they seem to be slowing in kind of getting their marketing rolling, and so there used to be a lot of houses being built in the reserve, but they're running out of the lots that are not owned by Lennar, and there hasn't been a single Lennar house built yet.
Wow.
And so I'm wondering when that's going to get rolling. But they've bought their signs are up. They're there.
Oh my gosh.
A national home builder. Yeah.
One of the trends that's happened across the country, more metropolitan areas, is where you have a group of investors come in. They'll just start buying homes top dollar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They don't care what it is. And then they'll have another house. They're going to resell them, but if they keep that value going up, then they can take another house and really increase the value, and they turn around and sell it. Well, now, because the market's softening, it's falling on them a little bit, and they're not getting that, they're not recouping their dollars on
That's
it.
something that should have been learned from 2008, 9, 10. We're not going to be in that situation again.
No.
Something should have been learned from that.
Yeah, but see,
sound like they have.
well, they're buying at a higher price to drive up the market values on it, and that's
But
why.
that doesn't always work. We know the market shifts.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, Serenity over there, sitting there, I haven't seen any new sales from those guys, and those are righteous lots.
Oh yeah. We're expecting pretty high priced houses to go in there. They just got the binder coat down. So, but I would expect to start seeing some building permits unless the interest rates are making it hard right now, but I would expect to see some.
For that type of buyer, I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, maybe, but I would doubt that.
Wow. Hey, let's talk a little bit about the numbers, and because we're running out of time here, and I gave the numbers to Bill and to Laura on this too. This is really the trend that I've got set up for the month right now, and as we're looking at what's happening in the month of July, sales, if we finish by end of the month, we're down 50%. Average price is $393,805. Price change of 3.95% over the same time period last year, which that was a surprise for me. That was a surprise. But now, folks, what you need to remember is that sales happen at the end of the month. Mm-hmm. The closings normally happen at this week. You're pretty busy, I know, for sure on this thing. But there is a list of 75. If you went out to Realtor.com or one of those things and looked at their sites for homes, it's going to show you 75 houses for sale, and that's not true. They're not 75 homes. A lot of those have offers that are on there, but their algorithm doesn't give you the clear information that's there. Actually, there's 82, and we have 48 that are available. I was looking at the wrong number. 82 current and 48 homes that are available. Of that 48, 33 of them are real houses. The rest of them are new construction and ghost listings. And if I take the new construction out of there, the average price is $453,000, or a median of $392,900. If you compare that to the 15 that are new construction that are there, $490,000 is the average, $445 is the median price on that. Mm-hmm. See, days on market are increasing. The longest we have is our $1.6 million unicorn sitting out there, and it's right in the middle of an old neighborhood.
It's in my neighborhood.
It's a beautiful house.
It makes sense. Yeah.
It's John Teppo's house.
That just sold on William for what was it? Almost $600,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
In a neighborhood.
Yeah. That's an old neighborhood.
It is. Yeah. It's definitely the most expensive house in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Well, and remind me, we'll talk about that one next week, because that was kind of fun. There are 26 homes that have been on the market over 20 days, and if you look at this and seeing that the average days on market is 13, you can tell there's some deals that are going to be happening, and there's going to be some price reductions that are occurring on this. Mm-hmm. We always watch how many competing offers are, so in the amount of homes that have been sold, 13 of the 34 had competing offers down, so it's 38%, and that's down from 50% competing offers last week.
That's good news,
I
in
know.
my opinion.
But it's way down from 62% being competing offers. And the majority of them are conventional loans. So cash buyers are not king right now. It's showing it. There's only been 2 cash sales, 1 FHA, 1 VA, 30 conventional. And so there's opportunities out there. You've got to be very strategic on how you write your loans or how you write your offers, the
Right.
loans that you're getting, and making sure you got all your ducks in a row.
I think it's a good opportunity you can finally get contingencies accepted.
Oh,
Yeah.
An inspection contingency.
Yeah. So
Not
Laurie,
cash.
are you seeing people doing ARMs now because of the interest rates rather than
Yeah.
the fixed rate, and then hoping that the interest rate will come down?
Yeah.
I know
Somewhat.
we did that once when
Yeah.
interest rates were up a bit and we needed to
Yeah.
move, and so
Yeah.
we did an ARM and the interest rates came down. We refinanced.
You just need to know, right, what the worst case is and
Mhm.
what you're going to be facing, and that rates could go up, but we know there's a cap on it too. So if lenders are doing their job, they're saying, all right, here's what your payment could be. You just need to know that before you get into it. It's not necessarily a bad thing. When we bought our house, it was a 7-year balloon,
Mhm.
and I wasn't afraid of it, probably because of what I do for a living, but it worked out fine. You just watch,
Mhm.
and when rates make sense, you refinance. Maybe you can even shorten your term, who knows?
Mhm.
But
Yep.
yeah, don't be afraid of it. Just know what your options are and know what your payments are and what it means for you, so you're making an educated decision.
Yeah. I mean, we had a problem with a lot of people taking ARMs that didn't understand what they were.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And who
And the
cou-
type of arms.
And who couldn't afford that risk.
Right.
Yes.
No, and then the option arms.
Yeah.
Where people, I'll just pay the minimum payment like a credit card. No, you weren't even reducing your principal.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a good idea. Those are gone though.
Oh, yeah,
thank
balloon
goodness.
arms.
Balloon or an arm, it's
Right.
one or the other, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't hear about balloons as much anymore. It's mostly
They're not
arm.
needed.
Yeah.
If you think about it, they're,
Yeah,
they're
not
just
really.
not needed.
Might as well just do an arm.
Yep. Hey, thanks
By
for
the
being
way,
on here.
adjustable rate mortgage, sorry, I feel like we talk in acronyms.
Oh,
We
yeah,
do.
it's my bad.
Well, anyway.
We're good at
adjustable
it.
rate
We
is what
practice
we're
it.
talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
I got 3 minutes left. Didn't get to half the stuff I wanted to talk to you about. So, would you come back again?
Yeah, sure.
Come back
I'd be
and see
happy
us? You're welcome anytime.
Mhm.
I mean, it's good to talk about this because this is how we get our situation to change is through discussion. Debate, discussion, disagree, agree. I mean, it's okay. It's okay to disagree.
Yeah,
Sometimes
well,
agree to disagree.
Yeah, right. Sometimes we're, but I think you were talking about appointees to that housing committee. I think there should be a diversity of viewpoints on that.
Absolutely.
Because you get a better product if you do that rather than have a kind of groupthink where everybody thinks about this the
For
same
sure.
Right,
Yes.
right. And I'm probably one of the only realtors that says we need apartments. In fact, I'm probably one of the only people in town other than you that says we need apartments.
And I'm going to say we need condos.
And see?
Not
We do.
self-serving. I just know there's people out there that want to buy
Mhm.
and they can't.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's create some wealth building opportunities for people.
Yes.
I think the key that we need is communication and education and,
Oh,
and working
sure.
together to make that. But-
Always. Yep.
and I think we can do it as a community because I love that. Hashtag Sun Prairie Strong. It's because we work together to figure out issues and we can get through it. Doesn't matter who you are, what you do, we can all do it. And yeah, it'll be great for everybody. It'll benefit. One of the great things I heard you say today is that we need to do all levels. And we do. We need to make it affordable for everybody. And I'm hoping that we can get there. Don't you?
Yeah.
If
Let's
you're,
do it.
If you're a mayor, you can
Open
do that.
minds and respect and
Yeah.
differing opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's mostly the council. The mayor doesn't have a lot of power.
that's true.
I'm hearing vote again, but like vote based on education.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true. I love what you just said. I've said that before, and I've had
Well, the
people.
mayor said that. The mayor says that all the time.
That he gets blamed for everything.
Yeah.
He does. He's the
Well,
figurehead.
He's
Well-
the lightning rod. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. If you want to be mayor, though, you have to be ready for the arrows in your back. It just happens.
I heard
Goes with the territory.
this week somebody described Sun Prairie as Esserville, and I'm like, what? Oh my gosh.
No.
Esserville. Hey, Sun Prairie, thanks for listening to the show. We really appreciate it. Bill Connors, you're always welcome on the show.
Well,
We
thank
love
you.
your insight. And have you been on TV lately?
No, I haven't done that lately.
Oh man, you're on. You got to get back on TV. But you got a good radio face.
Whatever that means.
Hey, Sun Prairie, catch me Saturday down at Farmers Market. Come down and visit and check out all the local vendors, and or on Monday. What's that?
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
So super quick, you let me mention
Sure.
it last time. This Saturday, Homebuyers Roundtable of Dane County has a free homebuyer education class. Go to homebuyersroundtable.org, and I would say do it today. There's some space available, but it's really good free education about buying a home. Everything you could ever want to know. Go do it.
There you go. I love it. And don't forget, you've got the election season coming up, and so do your homework. Call your representatives that are running for office and talk to them. They are approachable. I've met with, I think, every single one of them, and make your mind up. Get a feel for who you're going to be working with. They need to be approachable, and if they're not, do not vote for them. We've got a great group of people, 2 of them right here from Sun Prairie. So, again, Bill Connors, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it, and we'll see you next Wednesday right back here on the radio. Bye, Sun Prairie.
Bye, Sun Prairie.
All right, we're still on Facebook Live.
Okay.
That's called a warning.
Yeah. Don't say